Gouri, Lakshmi, Bayi earlier in the day today. For this interesting discussion, we have with us Ms. Sudhamahi Regunathan, an acclaimed author, translator, and former academic administrator, known for her contribution to Indian culture, spirituality, and folklore. She served as the Vice Chancellor of Jain Vishwa Bharati University, Rajasthan, reflecting her deep engagement with Jain philosophy and education. A prolific writer, she has many books to her credit. She has also contributed to Indian folklore through folk tales of the Northeast, bringing to life the oral traditions of the region and documented the legacy of spiritual leader in the story of a Guru, Shri Bal Gangadhar Nath Swami Ji. I will let Ms. Regunathan Ji take this conversation forward with Princess Gouri Lakshmi Bai Ji. So let's once again give them a very warm welcome, and I'll let her take the session forward. Thank you so much.
Good morning and namaskar. Thank you for the lovely compere who's been doing such a beautiful job for the past 2 days. And it's not every day that one shares a dais with royalty. My special greetings to Srimati Gouri Lakshmi Bai from the royal family of Travancore and an author of several books. Ladies and gentlemen, it was 2000 years ago, in the 1st century BC, when Cleopatra had loved and lost Caesar. Mark Antony was fighting for her. And Octavius was gunning for her. He was attacking them. Cleopatra was not worried about her kingdom or her safety. Octavius was not worried about the kingdom either, nor did he want Cleopatra. Cleopatra had a son called Caesarion. And Octavius saw in him a threat to him. Would he claim the throne of Caesar? He wanted to put an end to Caesarion. And now comes the interesting part. What do you think happened? Cleopatra had a very dear friend. And where was that friend? In Kerala, a Chera king. She sent her son to that king so that he be safe. And that Chera king is where she traces her lineage. What happened thereafter? Did she really send her son? Did he sit on the ship and travel? The waters between the two lands have completely smudged all that. What we do know is the intent of Cleopatra, and her friendship with the Chera king is a story that stands to be told even today. Giving you the length of antiquity that rests on her shoulder is one part of the job. But today, the discussion is not going to be so wide because, we have a few minutes, and to compress all that in those few minutes would probably be impossible. We begin with the early 18th century, when King Martandavarma in 1720 established what is known today as the Travancore Kingdom. And today, as repeatedly, we had different titles for today's session. One was the contribution of the Travancore family to literature. The other was culture and literature, contribution of the Travancore family. So let me just maybe draw the dimensions, the outline that lies between culture and literature, because culture is interpreted variously in various situations by different people. So for that, I have to tell you a mythological story. There was once a king called King Vajra. He went to Markandeya and he said, I would like to learn to sculpt. I want to learn iconography. So Markandeya said, oh, sure, but do you know how to draw? So he said, okay, teach me drawing. We'll begin there. He said, but to teach you drawing, do you know how to dance? He said, okay, I'll begin with dance. I'm ready to learn dance. He said, but to teach you dance, can you appreciate instrumental music? Now this man said, okay, instrumental music be it, teach me instrumental music. He said, but how can I teach you instrumental music if you don't know vocal music? He said, okay, then I am ready to learn vocal music, sarigama. He said, just a minute. Vocal music can be learned only when you know literature, poetry, prose, words, the beauty of literature. When you know that, then you can do all that. This breadth of vision is what she carries behind her. Today, I have a few questions for you. And I have also gathered that she has a little PowerPoint for us to show. But before that, we began with Martanda Varma dedicating his kingdom to Padmanabha Swami. And in all your writings, which I have had the pleasure of reading, I find that the overarching emotion is your dedication to the Padmanabha Swami temple and the deity. Was there any event that brought this about, or how did even all the literature, your ancestors, their literature, their contribution is pegged on Padmanabha Swami, like Lord Jagannath is to Odisha, Padmanabha Swami is to you.
Namaskaram to everybody. Bowing at the feet of Sri Padmanabha Swami, I will try to answer the question which you have yourself answered in your question with your reference to Jagannath Swami. If you're talking of my personal dedication to Padmanabha Swami, I have been born in a family which grew up with the name of Padmanabha Swami resounding in my ears in our daily lives. If you're talking of the dynasty, we have been born, we lived and survived only because of him. The beat of our hearts, the throb of our pulse, the flow of our blood, Padmanabha.
So, having now begun with at the feet of Padmanabha, you mentioned one king, Dharmaraja, the son of Martanda Varma?
Nephew.
Nephew.
We are matrilineal.
That's a question I have to ask you sometime later. But tell us about him. He has made seminal contribution to treatises on dance and drama.
Yes. After Bharata Muni, who wrote Natya Shastra, the next treatise on Natya was the Balarama Bharatam, authored by Maharaja Karthik Tirunal, known more famously as Dharmaraja for many other reasons which we have no time. It's a very historical reason which brought about that name to him. So that is the only other treatise on Natya Shastra for a very long time. And it is very elaborate, very expansive. I will be mentioning it in my PowerPoint presentation, so I will not repeat it here.
Okay, so we carry that forward. His nephew or his successor was Swati Tirunal?
No, I mean, the modern age, there were 12 kings, and none of them were the sons of the kings.
Yes.
They were nephews or brothers. The Swati Tirunal was much down.
Later.
Yeah,
Much later.
after Dharmaraja comes Balarama Varma, then Rani Gouri, Lakshmi Bayi, Rani Gouri Parvati Bayi, and then Swati Tirunal.
See, we were in the previous session, we heard about Narayana Guru, who is written in 3 languages. Swati Tirunal had written in 5 languages. In fact,
7.
He's 7. And he's written in Odia also. I couldn't find, that's what the book said, but I don't know if he's written in Odia. I couldn't find any.
Vrajabhasha, he has written. Hindustani, he has written. Odia, I'm not very sure. No.
Yeah. So there used to be a favorite in the early 20th century, which was sung by M.S. Lakshmi, Bhavayami Raghuramam, a composition of Swati Tirunal.
That is Ramayana.
And danced by Kamala Lakshman, for which also she has a little story. I think you can take a minute to tell them the story, because that story will get them closer to you than, the story you said about Kamala Lakshman dancing.
Yes, Kamala Lakshman, in our Navaratri Mandapam, where we have the festival every year, It's too, again, I can't go into the whole thing, it will take a long time. But every one day of the 9 days festival, after the regular festival and worship is over, somebody dances on the Navratri Mandapam. This was, earlier it was, Devadasi dances and all that. And then more, some type of Mohiniyattam, but not correct. And my grandmother, Maharani Sethu Parvati Bayi, who's a great musicologist and musician herself, she introduced this system where one person would dance. And the first person to dance on the Navaratri Mandapam was Kumari. By the time she was Kamala Lakshman. Kamala Lakshman and Vaijayantimala Bali at a later time, she gave up her foreign dance performance to come and dance. And almost all the big names in dance have danced, including my daughter-in-law, Gopika. They have all danced in
So
Navratri
have you also performed to Swati Tirunal's Tillana, Geeta Dhwani Ki Takatin? It's a very famous, very popular one amongst dancers as of now. Yeah, I know him. This is the Dhanashri Tillana. So since she's going to show us more about him in on the PowerPoint, I have a question. Yours is a matrilineal system. Why is it? Have any women written? Have any women written or composed? Or have any women
in the family.
in the family?
In the recent, that is
Apart from
post Martanda Varma, Rukmini Bai Tambrati, yes, she was Swati Tirunal's elder sister.
Yes.
She has composed, she has written, but most of them were educated. They were all in Sanskrit, but writing, not many of them. It was mainly the men who did it. But Rukmini Bai herself, yes.
Also, another question which is not directly related, but being a matrilineal system, why do you still want a man for a king? Why can't the woman be the queen?
The matrilineal system does not do away with the man.
No.
The
The men are very happy.
I think we felt that the man and the woman was on two sides of the same coin. And when the family traced or traces, my family still traces its descent through the woman. The head of the family is always the man. But if there is no man, then the woman can be the head. And that is how in the modern age itself, there are three queens, two regents and one queen. Swati Tirunal's mother, before he was born, she was queen in her own right.
In this context, how do you describe your relationship with one famous person of, I should say, related to the family?
Raja
And
Revarma.
before I tell you the name, I would like to say that in every puja room in Delhi, in South India,
Yes.
there was, if the gods and goddesses adorning that puja room were the prints of one painter. Today, if you close, when I was in Arunachal Pradesh 25 years ago, they were trying to institutionalize their religion called Doni Poloism. They believed in spirits, and those spirits did not have a form. It was a spirit. To create a form was a challenge. How should the eyes be? How should the nose be? When I looked at that, I was thinking of this person, Raja Ravi Verma, who gave all of us a face to pray to. Every age has its own painter with, the Chola bronzes of those times and all that. But in my growing years, the gods and goddesses that I was exposed to were all the imagination of Raja Ravi Verma that came down to. That is the impact that he has had on people so far away from him. So how is he related to you?
Raja Revarma is one of the easiest questions for me to answer. My grandmother, Maharani Sethu Parvati Bayi, and the Regent Rani Sethu Lakshmi Bayi were both his direct granddaughters. My grandmother's mother's father was Ravi Verma, my grandmother's direct grandfather. And he not only gave faces to the gods and goddesses, and as you have already observed, all the prints that you find so commonly of all the gods and goddesses came from his hand. He did one thing more he did was, which is not much recognized, was he brought about a type of national integration in his own way by draping his goddesses in saris, which became symbolic of Indian women's attire.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So there are two things. One is being an artist yourself, whether it's your music or painting or whatever. The other is patronage. What is the role of patronage in the Travancore?
Huge, absolutely huge. Every king, every queen, the patronage extended to the men of letters, to the scholars, to the musicians, to artists, to artisans. It is something stupendous, stupendous. And in many periods of time when the rulers themselves were musicians, and they were all, most of them were all scholars, especially in Sanskrit. And so they became, the interactions became very easy, and many of the kings were musicians themselves. And the patronage, but that I don't think is restricted to Travancore. I think almost every royal family in India, every royal court had a huge patronage. That is why the artists and artisans flourished, and that is why even today, though whether we acknowledge it or not, the arts and art forms which are so vibrant and abundant in India, a huge debt of gratitude or indebtedness goes to the royal courts, which were all over India. The kings, the queens, the royal courts, how much they promoted, propagated, protected,
Patronage.
patronized.
In your book, The Glimpses of Kerala Culture, I found something very interesting. She has given the songs and the traditions, many artistic traditions, performing traditions in Kerala, and included the Jewish, the Islamic, and the Christian songs in Malayalam. I think that was a very wonderful idea for you to make it a holistic and one family perspective.
Yes, I mean, when I wrote the book Glimpses of Kerala Culture, I think it is 24 chapters. 22 chapters deal with the traditional art forms which are all related to the Hindu culture, or to manuscripts, or to astrology, to martial arts, all connected with the religion. Two, because I come from Kerala, where there is a huge representation of Christians and Muslims, very big in number, and they have their own art forms and all this. So, how can I write on Kerala without them? So, I was able to include the Islamic as well as the Christian art forms. And it is surprising when I went into this that, contrary to what we think, the Islamic art forms are very much more than the Christian art forms.
Wonderful.
Much more.
Would you like to read a poem? I've got your poetry book somewhere. I just get I have two particular poems which I like. I think, I mean, of course, all of them, but I mean, of course, if you have a favorite, then it's yours to choose.
No.
There was one.
Very, very short one,
You
please.
could read just one verse.
One verse, because
I think
I do not want to impose a long poem on an audience, which would be a real punishment to them. And and after Shashi Tharoor, I'm Mr. Ashok. I have a complaint. Why he put me next to Shashi Tharoor?
But a princess cannot say that.
Because there's a sunlight in the shadow. And
I think there is a time, or when mythology talks of many suns in the sky.
let's hope.
There's one poem. This is very touching. Which is, I'll not invite you to return. This is about your favorite uncle. And the other one is Ahalya, which is so spiritual. Which would you like to?
I mean, it's only one.
Yeah, one verse.
star,
One.
So whichever, it doesn't matter.
The choice is yours.
I'm not reading about my uncle because even after so many years have passed since he moved on to the feet of Padmanabha Swami, I still feel very emotionally disturbed when at times, and I don't want to make a fool of myself on the stage. So I will stick to Ahilya and just read the last poem. It's very small,
Next
just
page.
4 lines.
Next page is the last verse. Oh, right at the bottom. No, that's fine. Yeah.
Ahalya, symbol of woman ravished, her penance of pain, his seal of shame. Desire defiled, defamed her yet untarnished. Her vigil pure she kept, for caress sacred of Rama's foot, so sanction her entry to eternity.
Thank you. The poem is about Ahalya, and the mixed emotions that we all have when we read about Ahalya, it has been beautifully captured in the poem. The next generation, we've got one dancer here, but who are the other, the next generation who are into the arts?
My sister's son, Prince Ashwati Tirunal, we share the same star. Ashwati Tirunal Ramavarma is, those who are familiar with Carnatic music, they would be very familiar with his name. He's very well known as a singer, as a teacher of music, as a musicologist, very well known, and he has gone into very deep into music and into the different forms, not only Indian but foreign, different types, different strains of music. But he's basically definitely a Carnatic musician. Gopika, you have mentioned, she is the daughter-in-law of the family, and she's a Mohiniyattam dancer with a national award to her credit, and she's got this. She's working on Balarama Bharatam. She's got a fellowship from the central government to work on Balarama Bharatam. And they are the two stars as of now, who are very active in culture. And then, though not on that level, my elder sister, Princess Gouri Parvati Bayi, she's very fond of dance, so she does quite a bit of Tiruvathirakali mainly, but even not Bharatanatyam and things like that. We have both learned dancing, my sister and I, but then she keeps up, Tiruvathirakali. She dances. I hope or think I make others dance.
Okay. Wonderful. Just as a means of clarification for some of us, I learned it, so I thought I should share with you. Her name, when she says Ashwati, that is the star under which she was born. Tirunal means the auspicious day.
The star, the auspicious star.
Auspicious star. And then follows the name. So when I heard that, when Mr. Ashok Bal invited me here, and I heard her name, instantly I said Swati Tirunal, because the Tirunal and the Ashwati Tirunal, Swati Tirunal, they, ring that well known was Swati Tirunal, that it is in your mind all the time. So thank you very much. The reason why we are having a rather brief conversation is because she has worked very hard to prepare a PowerPoint so that it's an exhaustive piece of information that you get about the Travancore Royal.
But I have just 1 minute. I have sort of unpardonably left out one person among the present generation. That is my own son, Aditya Verma, who has written a book there. He because he does not perform like both of them, Rama Verma, my nephew, and Gopika, they are very much on the public platform. My son, he plays the flute very beautifully and the veena, but for some reason he does not, play publicly. So that is why just Gopika, of course, she kept on saying. So I thought she was dancing Krishna.
No, but
she was dancing Krishna.
I can hear your son telling you, mommy is always like that. They forget their own children.
Well, he's not here, and she won't say.
So she'll blackmail you to saying that. Anyway, thank you very much. It was a nice session. As I said, that if it's short, it's because we are going to watch PowerPoint presentation that she's prepared. Thank you very much.
though I have spoken on many venues, bigger gatherings, I've never been a part of a power presentation. So this is the first time I'm doing a power presentation, but actually I'm not. I'm so grateful to my friend Lima, who is doing it for me. And Gopika also is there as a support, like that way. Shall we start? Oh. एवं त्वत्पदपद्मयोरनुदिनं न्यस्तात्मनामात्मनोऽप्युत्कर्षं ननु वाञ्छसि त्वम् अधिकं यत्सिन्धुकन्यापते तत्कारुण्यसुधाम्बुधौ त्वयि परे सत्वैकसान्द्रे स्थिरां भक्तिं भक्तजनप्रियाद्याविरता Shri Padmanabha Prabho, Shri Padmanabha Prabho, Shri Padmanabha Prabho. This is the Arat procession of Sri Padmanabha Swami temple. It takes place, it is on the 10th day of the festival. The festival takes place twice a year, and on the Arat procession day, this is the start from the temple. Middle is Padmanabha Swami, and on the right side, Narasimha Swami, Krishna Swami. And this is the one time, a little digression, that the airport remains closed for all aviation traffic. All flights are rescheduled for the procession to pass through it, passes over the runway and goes to the sea. When Maharaja Chitra Tirunal, the last Maharaja to rule, made available this land for the airport, he said 363 days in the year, this is for the people. 2 days it is for Padmanabha Swami. And even today, after so many changes, it happens every year. Now this time, the Arat is coming on the 11th of April. If anybody goes there, they can see for themselves the Arat, it's a very wonderful experience. And relating to the song that you heard, it was sung by Srimati Ranjini Verma of the Punya royal family, my father's family. And the song is part of the music composed by Maharaja Swati Tirunal. The literature in the song, as Madam has earlier said, is very beautiful. But it is in Malayalam. Kulishekara Perumal. Kulishekara Perumal he came from the dynasty of Kulishekara Perumal's 13 kings in the second Chera Empire. He is supposed to have his time slot more or less 9th century. And he was a committed Vaishnavite who renounced his crown, embraced sainthood to become one of the 12 Alvar saints of Bharat. He composed many hauntingly beautiful works in Sanskrit and Tamil. For example, Mukundamala, Perumal Tirumuri, which forms part of the Nalayiram Divya Prabandha of the Alvars, etc. he was one of our ancestors. Maybe we're going right back to the 9th century. And among the many compositions, all devotionals which he made, there is one stanza from the Mukundamala uh, which is engraved on a cave temple, Vishnu cave temple in Burma, in Burma. And that is, it starts, I'm not going to say the whole thing. It starts, Nasta dharme navasunichaye naiva kamo babhoge. That's how it goes. And then finally it ends with Nischala Bhaktirastu. And this is found in South Burma in a cave temple. How far it has traveled from Mahodayapuram to Burma. And Kulashekara Alvar was a staunch patron of the classical form Kudiyatam. Kudiyatam is rich in classical content, very high in literature, and he was multidimensional. Kudiyatam, incidentally, with great happiness, I must share with you, in 2001, the UNESCO instituted an 18-member international expert committee to identify 19 of the most significant art forms in the world. Every state has how many art forms? So in the world, just 19 art forms. Kerala's Kudiyatam, with over 2,000 years of unbroken Sanskrit drama tradition, was one among the 19 and the only one from India. UNESCO qualified it as, this is a quotation, one of the 19 masterpieces of oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Unquote. Chairman Perumal Nayanar, also of the second Chera kingdom, he too abdicated and became a sage. While Kulashekara Alvar was a total devotee of Vishnu, Kulashekara Nayanar was that of Shiva and ranks as one among the 63 Nayanar saints of India. The visual of Chairman Perumal Nayanar is taken. He has authored number of works, and these are the names of the works. I'm not repeating them for saving on time. And the next is a visual on Chairman Perumal Nayanar from a painting in the famous Sri Brihadishwara temple in Tanjore. It is not clear, but it is taken from the Brihadishwara temple in Tanjore. And as I have earlier said, he was a scholar and authored the 3 books, which we have already seen there. Emperor Sangramathira Ravivarma Kulashekara of the late 12th century or early 8th century. Those are all the plays that he has written. He was also a very great scholar, very great academician, in the sense that he really knew so much of Sanskrit. And he has to his credit 4 Sanskrit plays and 1 work in Sanskrit prose. In his work, Pradyumna Bhyudayam, he makes it very clear his dedication to Sri Padmanabha Swami. And he calls himself as Sri Padmanabha Pada Kamala Paramarathakan. Incidentally, Sangramathira's empire extended from Kanchipuram. If there are anybody here who knows the geography of South or who comes from Tamil Nadu, they will know Kanchipuram, from Kanchipuram in the south up to maybe Kollam. His empire extended that much. It was a very big empire, and he had 2 or 3 coronations. His inscriptions are seen even today. We will come straight to the modern age. One jump, because if we go on to the different things, it will be boring for you if I just say name, a title, a name, a title which does not mean anything. So I'm just going to the modern age. With all due respect and apologies to the other ancestors who are now being temporarily he has said, I have 5 minutes. So I don't know how to manage that. So then I think we will stop now because in 5 minutes I have nothing to say. But Maharaja Marthanda Varma, I think we will go on to the visuals then. Marthanda Varma patronized art and literature, and people like Kunjan Nambiar, who created a new art form containing social satire with amazing play of words, and Ramapurat Warrior, who invented Vanchipata or boat song, which are hugely popular to this day. There's a visual of, we will skip all the others, visual of Autumn Tullal. Slide 11. Yeah, that is Autumn Tullal. That is a social satire which came into life during Marthanda Varma's time. And there is a Vanchipata, next one, which is a boat song.
വഞ്ചിപ്പാട്ട് എന്ന കാവ്യശാഖയിൽ രചിക്കപ്പെട്ട ഏറ്റവും പ്രശസ്തമായ കാവ്യമാണ് രാമപുരത്ത് വാര്യരുടെ കുചേലവൃത്തം വഞ്ചിപ്പാട്ട്. ഈ കാവ്യത്തിലെ ശ്രദ്ധേയമായ ഒരു ഭാഗത്തിന്റെ സംഗീതാനുഭവം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സമ്മാനിക്കുകയാണ് DC.
That is Kuchela and Krishna.
ഒരു കട്ടിന്മേലന്നേരം ഏഴാം മാളിക മുകളിൽ ഇരുന്നരുളും ഏഴുരണ്ടുലകുവാഴിയായ തമ്പുരാനത്രയും താഴെ തന്റെ വയസ്യനെ ദൂരത്തു കണ്ടു.
The boat races are very, very popular, and the boat songs are extremely popular even to this day. Then comes to Dharmaraja, who is the author of Balarama Bharatam and so many other different scholarly productions. Since we have already spoken on Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra and Balarama Bharatam, I am not repeating it, except to say that while Bharata Muni, for example, had 13 different head movements in his text, Maharaja has 230 head movements. Kartika Tirunal was a patron in the field of Kathakali, which is symbolic of Kerala, and he authored 6 Arta Kathas or texts, and along with Kaplingad Nambudiri, he developed the southern school of Kathakali. Visual. Chumanatadi. The visual. Kathakali. This is the Chumanatadi Dushasana. And he patronized people like Unnai Warrior, Manorama Tambrati. Anyway, it is too long to go. And his nephew, Prince Avitantrinal Ramavarma, nephew of Dharmaraja, was himself a master of letters, and he authored 13 literary works, including 3 kathas. Kathakali Tekanchita. From Putana Moksham, authored by this prince, this visual is that it is being presented by Vidwan Kalamandalam Rajashekharan, who was ex-principal of Kalamandalam, and Tekanchita. Next one. Yeah. Swati Tirunal's sister Rukmini Bayi composed many devotional pieces and songs for Kerala's own cosmopolitan dance form Tiruvadirakali. That is Rukmini Bayi. That is my sister. I mean, they got the thing a little wrong. That is my sister, the person who was standing by herself. That is Tiruvadirakali. And then comes Maharaja Swati Tirunal Ramavarma, king among musician among kings, who wrote, composed in 7 languages, 400 musical compositions, covering the entire spectrum of India's classical music, South and North India. Great, like literary works, not only in music, but on other aspects of literature, including a text on Sanskrit grammar. There is a handwritten manuscript of Swati Tirunal, handwritten manuscript. And he was a great patron of scholars, meeting ground of scholars from all over the India and even abroad. Iranmantambi, Tanjavur, Nalvar, I mean, so many of them. And we come to slide number 27, which is the Hindi bhajan. One among the different compositions of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, where he composed in Hindi. He has composed in Vrajabhasha, Hindi, Carnatic, the Sanskrit, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, so many. And this is a Hindi Vishweshwara. That is my nephew, Ramavarma, Prince Ramavarma, who is singing. And that is the manuscript.
विश्वेश्वर दर्शन कर चल मन तुम काशी विश्वेश्वर दर्शन कर चल मन तुम काशी विश्वेश्वर.
And the same song has been presented in Mohiniyattam dance form. By my daughter-in-law, Gopika Varma, National Award holder. And and we will have to go on to the next thing. The Indian government honored Swati Tirunal by bringing out cancellation of 9 Navratri compositions. They brought out postal cancellations, 9 plus 110, in honor of Swati Tirunal. Next is his younger brother, Maharaja Uttram Tirunal Martanda Varma, who was a great patron of Kathakali and related literature and author of many Kathakali plays. There are so many other things which I am skipping now. And his nephew Maharaja Ailen Tirunal Ramavarma, who also was an author and translator, well-known vocalist, and patron of many, many great musicians. His brother, younger brother, Maharaja Vishakan Tirunal Ramavarma. He was known as Vishakan Tirunal Ramavarma the Learned. He was awarded the Fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society, London. Innumerable articles in English of high scholarly caliber and prestigious publications like Calcutta Review carried his articles. The last light to go out at night and the first light to be lit in the fort area where his palace was situated was in his office room. The Epigraphy Institute was established by him, and for the interest of those from Kerala who are here, he was a person who was responsible for bringing tapioca maricini into Kerala, because he said that in case one day rice becomes a problem, nobody in the land of Padmanabha should starve. And he got maricini from South America. Prince Ashwati Tirunal Martanda Varma, He did not become king. He was a nephew of Maharaja Moolanthirunal, who we will be mentioning later. He was popularly known as B.A. Prince because he was the first B.A. among all the royal families in India, the first prince, the first royal member to get a degree. So he was popular and known as the first B.A. Prince. And he excelled in music and languages, and they included Hindustani, Carnatic, Maharashtra, Malayalam, and even Tibetan. He could compose and write even in Tibetan. He had the distinction of co-authoring a 4-line verse with none other than Swami Vivekananda. When the Swami was visiting Thiruvananthapuram during his Kerala tour, the prince authored a travelogue, a narrative of the tour in Upper India by His Highness Martanda Varma of Travancore, and was accompanied by the world-famous artist Ravi Varma, who has been already mentioned, luminary of the Kilimanur royal family. Sri Moolanthirunal. Sri Moolanthirunal Rama Varma, under his patronage, arrayed legends like Ullur Parameshwara Iyer in literature, artist Ravi Varma himself, Neelakanta Shivan music, T. Ganapati Shastri Sanskrit scholar, etc. Shastri was instrumental in retrieving the 13 Sanskrit plays of great Bhasa from obscurity and given a new lease of life. They came to be known as Travancore plays as well. In passing, it is mentioned that T. Ganapati Shastri was the first Indian to be awarded a PhD from a European university, that is from Germany, for his work on Maharaja Swati Tirunal's treatise Bhakti Manjari. With the blessings of the royal house, he set up the Oriental Manuscripts Library, housing countless manuscripts. Ganapati Shastri, Raja Ravivarma, next slide. Artist Raja, next one, artist Ravi Varma with his brother Raja Varma and the Raja of Kolangod. Though this is a digression, since somebody mentioned films and all that, I am tempted to say that Ravi Varma, while he was in Pune, he came in contact with Dada Saheb Phalke, who was the father of Indian cinema. And Ravi Varma funded him to produce the first film in India, a silent movie, Raja Harishchandra, which came out in 1913. Regent Rani Setu Lakshmi Bayi, impetus in medication, Maharaja Sri Chitra Tirunal Rama Varma, the last Maharaja to rule Travancore. A digression, Temple Entry Proclamation, first in India, 1936, Travancore University, 1937. He patronized great names like Dr. L.A. Ravi Varma, scholar, linguist, poet, Muttaya Bhagavatar, who won the first PhD in music in India. Chembanguti Srinivas Iyer, countless musicians. Guru Gopinath, compositions of Swati Tirunal, rich in literary content, were collected and printed under the auspices of Maharaja's mother, Maharani Setu Parvati Bayi, who was a connoisseur in Carnatic music. Slide Maharani and Chitra Tirunal. Then there is one more slide that is on the Travancore Labor Corps, started by my father, Colonel G.V. Raja, as a part of the university. And the interesting thing is, you will find number of people pushing wheelbarrows. And at that time, Maharaja Chitra Tirunal invited all the vice chancellors of India to come and revamp the syllabus of the Travancore University. And they all came to Travancore except Bombay, the vice chancellor, who fell ill. And you will find there all these people who are pushing the wheelbarrows are the vice chancellors of India. And you will find Dr. Radha Krishnan, future president of India, who was the vice chancellor of the Banaras Hindu University. Uttradam Tirunal Martanda Varma Maharaja, younger brother of Chitra Tirunal, was also a scholar of note, and among his works is Samarpanam, a commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama and visual history of Travancore. Prince Punartham Tirunal Sri Kumar Varma. Now this is the current generation. I'm stopping. Yes, I'm stopping now. He's the present generation, and he won the Excellence Award for writing in English, Charles Wallace Fellowship from Stirling University, etc., etc. 3 major novels, number of plays, children's books, poetry, etc. Tiruvatiruthal Lakshmi Bayi, author of many high-flying articles and 2 books. Prince Avittandirunal Ramavarma authored the coffee table book titled A Journey to Adi Kailas. Now coming to the end of the thing, you know, when they say, we have a saying in Malayalam, Onnithitya Moona. Two papers have come. The third will not be a paper, I'll be physically removed. So I don't want to risk that. I'm coming to the end with just 2, because I was told I must say it. 2 sentences about myself. I have authored 13 books, of which 3 are English poetry, 2 are in Malayalam, 1 is a translation into English, and the rest in English, like the Padmanabha Swami Temple, etc. 72 awards, including Padma Shri and Honorary D.Litt from Vinayaka Mission University, Salem, for literature in 2024. Last slide. That is the last slide, with the slide of Padmanabha Swami Temple. It's a nocturnal view, and I stop here with just a prayer to Bhagavan, to Padmanabha Swami. I'm doing a samarpanam to him. Narayanayedi samarpayami, Padmanabhayedi samarpayami, and with a prayer to him to bless us all, to bless the world, to bless the people present here and the entire world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Shanti, shanti, shanti.
We would like to felicitate you, please. Blessing from her. Big round of applause. I'll request Prachi to please join on stage, and I'll also request Ms. Regunathan to join on stage. We would like to do the honors of felicitating them for this wonderful session. Thank you so much. And of course, a picture with the co-founder and lovely ladies in one frame. Thank you so much. Ma'am, request if you can. So we actually have representatives of Kerala Kala Samiti, Bhubaneswar, and All India Malayali Association, Odisha, and they would like to felicitate Princess and Gopika ji as well. So I'll request her to also join on stage. Both of them to please come on stage. They are here. The association members are here to felicitate them. So we'll quickly let them honor Princess Ma'am and Gopika Ma'am. Come here. Just be here. Thank you to both the association members. Come. Go, ma'am, Pakuja. Puja, ma'am, Pakuja. Princess, ma'am, Pakuja. Back it.